Okay, so what the hell's going on in New York State? Let's take a virtual trip together right now to a very infamous place named Dannemora, New York. And what makes Dannemora so significant is that there's a prison right smack in the center of this town. It has the nickname Little Siberia. This is because of how remote the prison is, how far north it is, how cold and crazy the weather gets there, and due to the fact that this prison is a maximum security prison. It truly is the kind of prison that even the toughest and most dangerous criminals will do anything to avoid being sent to. Oh, and by 2015, there were 2 specific inmates who actually fit that exact profile at this prison. The first man's name was Richard Matt, and the second man's name was David Sweat. And they were in the process of devising a plan to break the hell out of Dannemora prison for good. Matt and Sweat both worked and sat together in one of the prison's tailor shops. And it's in this tailor shop that Richard Matt and David Sweat met a woman named Joyce Mitchell. Both Sweat and Matt were really good at manipulating. And again, Joyce Mitchell was just in a place in her life where she was unfortunately just ripe to be a victim of manipulation. And at this point, Joyce Mitchell was so close to Richard Matt and David Sweat that she was 100% down to start sneaking in tools to help them with their escape. And so at the beginning of 2015, both men start cutting through the walls of their prison cells with these tools that had been smuggled in. So from the very first night that David Sweat finished the hole in his cell wall, he would go out after 11 p.m. and start searching for a route out of the prison. But eventually, towards the end of the spring, he literally broke his way from his cell all the way to the final wall. He finishes cutting and he punches through on June 5th, 2015. And he eventually finds this manhole right here. And he goes back into the prison, climbs all the way back up to his cell, and he tells Richard Matt, tomorrow is the night. We're doing it. Again, this is a maximum security prison. This kind of thing is not supposed to happen. These are 2 convicted killers, just brutal people. The fact that they escaped from a prison like this was unbelievable. And it didn't take long after this for Richard Matt to finally meet his end. He didn't make it. David Sweat would go on to get a few extra years tacked on to his life sentence for this escape. Joyce Mitchell would end up being sentenced to up to 7 years in prison for helping in the escape. She ended up getting released a little bit early on parole back in 2020.